Hello, and welcome to Let's Talk Spoop. I'm your host, Don, and today we are going to talk about Underwater, which I watched on HBO Max. Underwater stars Kristen Stewart, and it is about, well, we'll get into it in a minute. So, as per usual, we break Spoop down into 6 separate categories. Those 6 categories are story, acting, music, atmosphere, look, and creep. So, this movie was recommended to me by my fellow contributor to the channel, Jeremiah. So, let's go ahead and talk about it. So, story, you get your opening credits, and it shows like some blueprints and some newspaper clippings. The blueprints are about an underwater like drilling station, essentially, like an underwater station. There's some news reports about like people claiming to have seen things down there, and then medical reports about like the effects of being underwater for extended periods of time. Being a submariner, I can tell you that being underwater for an extended period of time sucks. So we find out that there's a drilling crew that's underwater. So that's where our setting is underwater. We get a voiceover about talking about how you lose track of time while you're underwater for extended periods. The narrator lady investigates a leak that she sees in the station, and then it proceeds to just implode. And then it just kind of starts with this continual action from that point on. It's very action-packed for a horror film. So, like, the place, a large portion of the station collapses, and then she gathers together with a couple other crew members, and then those crew members then try to find a way to get back to the surface, essentially, because they don't want to die down there. There's also weird sea creatures. So, the story's not terribly original, but it's not bad. It's newer, so I gave it a 3 out of 5 for story. Acting, good performance overall. This may be one of Kristen Stewart's best adult performances. 3.5 out of 5 for acting. Music, it sets the mood fine. Does its job. It's stronger than average, I would say. So I gave it a 3 out of 5 for music. Atmosphere, it feels like a stranded in space movie. It does a pretty good job of keeping you engaged and pulled in. The reason it feels like it's a stranded in space movie is most stranded in space movies are actually based off the template of submarine movies. So it kind of makes sense because it takes place underwater. So I gave it a 3 out of 5 for atmosphere. The look, I was actually really happy with pretty much everything special effects with this movie. I gave it a 4 out of 5. So there's a death scene where they try to go from inside the space station, underwater station, to out into the water. And they have to wear like these big mech suits that like equalize pressure to prevent them from getting crushed, essentially. So one of the characters' helmets cracks, and he dies horribly. And they did an amazing job with the visuals for that. The mech suits are cool looking. Underwater visuals are really cool. The way they show the space station doesn't have that really fake CGI feel. So like I said, for look, 4 to 5. Really enjoyed it. Creep. There's a couple pretty good jump scares, but overall, it's not very scary, but it is very reminiscent of the Alien movies. Overall, I feel I really enjoyed this movie. We totaled this all up, divide by 6, we get a 3.1, which I'm impressed with. I really enjoyed this movie. One of my only things I could say against it is that they put out some information that has absolutely no bearing whatsoever on the story. Like, I thought it was going to go in a different direction. I thought it was going to be kind of Pandorum-esque. but instead it was actually a lot more straightforward of a story than I had expected. Anyway, so as I said, 3.1 out of 5 for Underwater with Kristen Stewart on HBO Max.